This is a little bit earlier this afternoon. Trump supporters cheered when the former U.S. president arrived at the courthouse. And of course, today's hearing kickstarts a judicial process that could play out over years and may not even be done until after the 2024 election. For more on this, let's bring in our Paul Hunter, who joins us live from Washington. The big news, Paul: Trump officially pleaded not guilty.
Yeah, and as I speak, just keeping one eye on the garage door of that courthouse. He's still, I guess, in there, going through whatever needs to be done after what was really a relatively short appearance in court today. As you note, not guilty. He pleaded to all 37 counts, not only making history, Hannah, as the first former U.S. president ever to be charged, arrested, as he was today, and to now enter a plea, not guilty, on federal criminal charges over those national security documents, but setting up what is certain to be, indeed, another polarizing, highly charged many months on this matter alone. Noteworthy that Trump himself did not rise and utter the words in court, not guilty. Rather, it was his lawyer. That's not an unusual step in these circumstances. Neither was he ordered to pose for a mugshot today. Trump was described as appearing somewhat low energy in the packed courtroom, some reporting that he seemed glum and a little bit fidgety. And yeah, then he was released on his own recognizance, deemed not a flight risk. There had been some speculation he might be ordered to hand over his passports. I say plural. It's believed he has two of them, a regular and a diplomatic passport. He needed to post no bond nor hand over those passports. Outside, a not unexpected scene of Trump supporters waving 2024 flags surrounded by tight security. And there it is. Step one in a super high stakes process, indeed, expected to play out over months. Remember, these are very serious allegations against Trump with very serious potential consequences, not only for him personally, Hannah, but for this country. Once again, Donald Trump has taken the U.S. into uncharted territory.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. There's that shot you're talking about, Paul, the garage door. I'm kind of watching it too. It's a weird thing to keep an eye on, but there you have it. It's still happening. We know that Trump is in that courthouse. You talk about the length of this legal battle and how long it could be playing out as Trump is campaigning for November 2024 election. Talk about the potential impact on that. And he still doesn't even have the nomination yet.
No, you're right. Although he is the leading candidate by a lot. Look, that's the great, big, unanswerable question. But let's give it a go, right? Truth is, it's anyone's guess, but it is safe to say this will have, keep looking down at that garage door, a tremendous impact one way or another. Yeah, he's the leading candidate to be the Republican nominee, and he is in serious legal peril in Florida, further legal peril in New York State, and facing potential further legal trouble in Georgia. This trial in Florida, yeah, it'll likely play out certainly during the primary season, at least, and maybe beyond that into the campaign proper. His supporters, some of whom indeed were outside the courthouse today, are steadfast behind him. They are fired up over this, and as well by the language of other Republican politicians still supporting Trump that would seem to fire them up ever more, i.e. that he's being railroaded by an unfair, unjust, untrustworthy U.S. Department of Justice. Faith in government institutions is at further risk with all of this. Faith in the outcome of the next election, no matter who is on the ticket. And the forever threat these days of violence breaking out in support of Trump. All of it is in the mix now, Hannah. It was, already a pre-election season like no other. This turns upside down everything anyone has ever known about U.S. politics, and no one knows where it's all going.
No, I think that might even be an understatement, Paul Hunter. Let's just talk a little bit about tonight, too, because that will be the first time we'll likely hear from Donald Trump after this arraignment. What do we expect with that?
Yeah, he's flying back to New Jersey for a rally. What we expect, I think it's fair to say, is what we have seen from Donald Trump throughout this process, which is politicizing this, which is trying to turn it to his advantage, to an audience that is more than open to the kind of talk that he will deliver, that, again, he's being railroaded, that this is a witch hunt. All the all the language that we've heard countless times throughout, not only throughout Trump's troubles since leaving office, but during his time in office. This gets eaten up by his supporters who are on side when he says, you know, the world is out to get him. The Democrats are out to get him. The U.S. Justice Department is out to get him. And this fires them up. That's why security is so tight outside the courthouse. That's why security is tight wherever Trump goes and where he doesn't go, where this comes into play. His supporters, not enough, would say Democrats, to get him over the top come a proper election campaign, but his supporters are hardcore. They are going nowhere. The question for Republicans is, can he grow it? The problem for Republicans is that the people in the middle that aren't the MAGA crowd that we talk about, that he'll be speaking to tonight in New Jersey, the people in the middle, you talk to Americans and they're tired of this, right? You talk to Republicans and they're tired of this. So that's why it's so complicated, Hannah, in saying where all of this is going, right? Because Trump has his crowd, but there's more to America than that crowd. Nonetheless, tonight, to your question, in New Jersey, he will try to politicize this as he is so expert at doing.